All right, I'm back. I'm back. I was on mute for a second there, but life goes on. So let's kick it off again. Welcome back to 5 days of copywriting nuggets live in the evening. Just doing 5 days in a row, guys, to have a chat with you about copywriting and just how to, we can't get into like exact templates and stuff. I do have a link where you can ask to me and I'll give it to you, and I'll give you 18 days of done for you marketing templates, including some of my favorite copywriting templates for ads, landing pages, thank you pages, emails, etc. Let me know if you want it. But basically, 5 days of copywriting nuggets is all about giving you guys the value of how to think about various types of copywriting in ads and how to create engaging stories and emotions within your audience so they come closer to converting and buying what you're selling, which is what we're here for. So yesterday we touched on when to write, when's the best place to write. For me, it's kind of like right now, like 8:30 to 9:30 at night. Everyone's quiet, put some blue light glasses on, put on some Pink Floyd and freaking go for it. But tonight we're going to talk about the long and the short of it. And what does that mean? It is all about long form ads versus short form ads. What does that mean? Well, a short form ad is, like one you'd see in a magazine. Nike, just do it. New Air Jordans, the bounciest shoe of all time. Come and get them. Short form copy. Our t-shirts are 100% bamboo, recycled, organic, and super comfortable. Short form copy. Great for products, great for retail. When there's not too much story behind it. However, long form copy is when you kind of on a Facebook ad, on a landing page, you got to scroll a bit to read the whole thing. You got to keep reading. It's got more to explain. And is there a time and a place for both? I absolutely think there is. I'm more of a fan of long form copy because the industry I work in is the coaching space. The coaching space is complex. It's generally more premium pricing. People need to know you and trust you when they're going to buy from you. And so we often have to take people on more of a journey in the copywriting to make sure that they understand what you're about, know that you know what they're going through, and then they know that you can help them. So long form copy is good for me. I'm talking about, 250 to 500 words, so they can be, 1 or 2 minutes to read them, depending, but usually it's not that long because of the way we do it. So I'm going to talk to you today about when I would do long form copywriting. I've touched on short form. Short form is when the product is simple. You don't need to go into it too much. And that's completely fine. It's quantity over quality. And if you have a cheaper or lower ticket product, then absolutely short form copy. You don't need to go into it too much, like a software as a service, or you're just selling like a product, like a t-shirt. Let your video do the talking. If you have a video, that's great. Then let your video do the talking as well. Long form copy, people often see the copy I write when it's like quite long and they think no one's going to read that. But the thing is, the right person will read it if you've done it well. And when you have someone come through your entire ad copy, read all the way to the end, and they've been engaged enough to read that, do you not think that person will be warmer, more qualified, and more likely to speak with you than someone who's just read 1 or 2 lines? Yeah, 100%. In the coaching space, when we're selling to an individual kind of over a phone call and we're giving them like a 12-week program or more like a relationship with us, they need to know us. They need to be engaged and kind of qualify themselves. So how do we make long form copy engaging? I'm going to give you a structure tomorrow on how to make a long form copy engaging. So stick around with me because it's all about headline, story, emotions, objection handling, all these things. Today, I'm just going to give you the macro of how I think about long form copy. We want to grab them instantly at the very beginning because your image can do this, but also your headline needs to do this. I like to be upfront with the headline and usually just give people a reason to stop scrolling because that's all they're doing. And the way I like to do that is be specific about who I'm talking to and kind of call them out. So saying things like attention, Australian primary school teachers, that sort of thing, or attention, Queensland farmers, that sort of thing. People who wouldn't get advertised to that much or wouldn't get addressed specifically that much. That's a great way of getting their attention. And then telling them exactly what they can get. Free, 12-step training to ensure you maximize your profits on every job you do, that sort of thing, without delegating or hiring more staff. They're like, okay, I know what I'm getting. Sweet. If you can engage them with that first bit, then you can take them down a longer journey. And I'll give you the structure for that tomorrow. But here's the thing I want you to notice. With copywriting, when some of the best copywriters out there write, like Sabri Subi, Frank Kern, people you may or may not have heard of, they use short sentences, usually with a line in between, 2 to 7 words, space. There's very few big paragraphs, very few big chunks. And I'll give you 2 examples of why I believe this is so powerful in copywriting. I do the same thing, and it keeps people reading all the way down. Do you ever get, the feeling when you look at a paragraph and you're like, oh, I'm not reading that. It's 2022. I've got TikToks to look at. I'm not reading a paragraph. Okay. So what we do is we disengage from it. But if it's one line at a time, we kind of manage to. And I'll give you an analogy as to why I think that works. If someone said to you, hey, do you want to sit down tonight and watch a 4-hour movie or a 3-hour movie on a Tuesday night? You'd be like, fuck no, I don't want to watch a 3-hour movie. It's Tuesday night. But if someone said, how about if we gave you, 3 57-minute episodes of Game of Thrones? You'd be like, I could do that. Because you get to the end of the first one and you're like, I want to see what's coming up next. And then before you know it, it's 1 a.m. and you're fucked. So that is how I think about short, bursts of text in copywriting. It's also the same as if you ever read the Da Vinci Code or any of those Dan Brown books. His chapters were hella short. Sometimes they're like 2 pages. So you're like, oh, I'll just read 1 more chapter before I would go to bed. And then like before you know it, you've read like 7 more chapters because it's so engaging. They're short and they keep you moving to the next one. If you're writing long form copy, you want to make it like that. You want to make it unlike this video, not rambling, but you want to make it concise points that lead to the next place, that take people on a journey in short form. We're talking about making long form copy out of short sentences and phrases. And if you've already got their attention with the headline and a great image, people will be much more likely to read it if it's accessible, bite-sized, and doesn't scare them off by being a huge chunk of text. So that's the first tip I give you about long-form copywriting. One is that people will read it if they're the right people. And in coaching, we need quality, not quantity. We don't need 1,000 clients. We need like 15 and we're good. And 2, if you break up your big sentences and your big paragraphs into short form phrases, people will be more likely to read the whole thing. But you've got to follow the structure I'll give you tomorrow to make it more engaging. So that's day 2 of 5 days of copywriting nuggets live with me. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, let me know. And if you want those templates, comment below. I'm going to give them to you. Thanks so much, guys.